What's up and welcome to My Point of View. I am your fat and opinionated host, and as most of you all know, there's been debates online for a while now as to whether Ann Taylor has any business representing Bryan Kohberger at all. Because after all, she represented not one, not two, but three parents of these victims that Bryan Kohberger allegedly killed. Now, in my opinion, that's the whole reason why we have the concept of conflict of interest, is specifically for situations like this. This is why this conflict of interest is even a thing. This is why it was created. This is why it exists for moments like this one. But hey, the criminal justice system is kind of a joke. And a lot of this stuff, I tell people, is just hippity hoopla. Random words and things that people say to sound smart, when in reality, no one gives a damn about anything in today's world anymore. Because Ann Taylor has been cleared. She's been cleared. She sat down, met with a judge, and she's been cleared of all of these conflict of interest concerns. How could she have been cleared? Now, they could go ahead and keep her as Bryan Kohberger's lawyer, whatever, do what y'all want to do. But let's just be honest here. This is a conflict of interest. She was just representing Xana's mother a couple of weeks ago, or, you know what I mean. Literally decided, hey, I'm just going to drop you and take care of Kohberger because the paycheck is bigger. The payday is going to be bigger from representing Kohberger. Let me drop all of these parents. Who cares if I have to cross-examine them later on in trial? Conflict of interest. And it sickens me because someone else could have done this job. It sickens me because these parents who have already been through enough, they've lost the child. And here is this lawyer who I would think they probably thought they could trust at one point, considering the fact that she represented them. So they have somewhat of a relationship. And now they're going to have to look her in the face as she tears them down during cross-examination periods in this trial to figure out whether or not Bryan Kohberger gets the death penalty or what. It doesn't look good. And then the writing's on the wall. Bryan Kohberger gets found guilty. He's going to make a stink about the fact that this was his legal representation. Multiple of the victim's parents' lawyer is his lawyer. It makes no sense. But let's go ahead and watch this clip. I want you all to see what other people have to say about this, and then I'll be back with more thoughts.
The next ensuing moments. I think this is one of the most important issues that has come across the radar in the Idaho murder case, because I like criminal procedure. I've been, kind of steeped in it for a long time, and I cannot stand when something gets overturned on appeal. I can't stand it because sometimes it's so preventable, right? Especially if you know in advance and you do something about it. And I kind of see something percolating here. The experts know better, and they're having a field day arguing online about this. And so I know it's a really important issue. It has to do with conflict of interest. I know we've talked about it before, but I have some breaking news on this tonight. So the issue has been Bryan Kohberger's public defender, Ann Taylor, right? She showed up and walked into court with him the very first time. She's a very accomplished attorney. Holy cow. She's got some real scores under her belt, right? So she's good. She's also a leader in the public defender's office. So looked like it was a pretty good match, especially for a case that was important as this. Could be a death penalty case. I'll repeat, could be a death penalty case. You have to have a star, but you have to have a clean star. Someone who has no conflicts in her past representations. And along came the fact that she had indeed represented the mother of Kara Kernodle, one of the alleged victims of Bryan Kohberger, her client, and then two other parents of the victims, right? So that, all of a sudden, it's like, it seemed so clear. Well, you cannot have represented the children of parents who are now going to be in that courtroom watching you defend their child's alleged killer. You can't. And yet there's some wiggle room. But with all of the conflagration that happened, it turns out now there has been a meeting. And we have sources close to the prosecution who have told us that Ann Taylor has had a meeting with the judge on this exact issue, the conflict of interest issue. Private meeting, behind closed doors, discussing all of the issues. Likely she was called in to lay out, tell me everything you did with client A, client B, and client C. Tell me everything so that we can exclude the possibility of a conflict. And in this review process, my source has told me that it's been cleared. No conflict, according to the judge. So is that it? I mean, Kara Northington, Ben Mogan, Corey Hattrock, all parents of the deceased victims in this case, all had Ann Taylor on their cases, right? So it is such a curious issue. What did she tell the judge? Like, what did she lay out to the judge in order for the judge in this case to say, nothing to see here, no conflict problem? Did she see our interview? Did the judge see our interview with Ann Taylor's previous client, who she dropped on the very day she showed up in that courtroom with her brand new client, Bryan Kohberger? Literally dropped her former client, Kara Northington, that's Xana Kernodle's mom, dropped her that day. And they were still active, like it was still an active pending case. By the way, Kara Northington had no idea that this had gone on. She had no notification of it, she told us. And did Ann Taylor know about the interview that we conducted on this program with Xana's mom, in which she laid out that she was gobsmacked by all of this, that she had no idea?
Yeah, guys, you already know how I feel about this. I feel like it's absolutely ridiculous. What's the point of even having a conflict of interest be a thing if you're not going to act in moments like this to make sure that everything's okay? To make sure that this trial is a fair trial. You know, and I'm not saying that it wouldn't be a fair trial with Ann Taylor being Bryan Kohberger's lawyer, but it doesn't look right. And I think it's disgusting. I personally think it's disgusting. And it would be one thing if they're like, listen, there's no one else for the job. We have to do what we have to do. But to say, oh, we had a meeting and we cleared her of anything, everything's fine. No, it's not. I don't care. What meeting could you have had? Unless that meeting involved a time machine where you go back in time and never represent the victim's family members, then I'd be like, okay, cool. But anything shy of that, then this meeting means nothing to me. You went behind a closed door with the judge. She was just like, yeah, whatever. And then it was over. Basically, that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. I doubt this was some big high-profile meeting where everyone got together to decide what is the best for these victims' families and what's the best for this trial. No, that's fairy tale land. I know people would like to think that the professionals really work that way. The reality is, everyone, the professionals, all of these people, 9 times out of 10 are just chickens running around with their head cut off. A lot of these professionals that you think got it all together, their head is up someone's ass. And they don't even know what they're doing. This is a complete joke to me. But we're going to watch it play out. Undoubtedly, when the trial is over, if Bryan is found guilty, there'll be some type of issue with this. Go ahead and mark my words. So we'll just patiently wait for that day to happen. Let me know your opinions and thoughts, though, down in the comments. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, ring that notification bell, and remember, always remain opinionated.